Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bitcoin Prediction. In this episode, I'll go over the treasure hunt. That's the first thing I'll do. And of course, the treasure hunt is specifically about Chris DeRose. And then after that, I'll go into a very short chart analysis of Bitcoin. And then I'll make my prediction about segregated witness being activated by the end of this year. So let's begin with the treasure hunt first. So here's the QR code for the private key, but this is a password protected private key. And so far I have to tell you the paper wallets that are free, doesn't cost a thing, that use the BIP38 password protected encrypted private key seems to work good, because I've shown my private keys on this treasure hunt many times, and no one has been able to crack it without me feeding them or spoon feeding them the passcode. So it seems to be very secure in my opinion, and it's free. Did I say that? It's free? Yeah, I think I said that it's free. Anyways, so that's the key. And if you didn't have a chance to watch Mad Bitcoins, I'm subscribed to him, so I get his little alerts. He had Chris DeRose, and he talked about, are ICOs legal? Mad Bitcoins interviews Chris DeRose to find out. He recently wrote, I guess, an open letter to the SEC regarding the ICOs that are happening. Are they out of control, out of hand? I think they are, but the people who participate in them, I think everyone who participates in the ICOs knows exactly what they're doing. The people who are offering the ICOs, the coins, they know exactly what they're doing. The people who buy them, if they can buy them, I think there's a lot of inside trading going on. A recent one was the BAT, the Brave browser, supposedly, where you can pay people on their websites, or you pay to have content advertising blocked out. The basic attention token, which I have me, I just make fun of things. I call it the bait. The basic attention idiot token, because you've got to be an idiot to take the bait on that one, and a lot of people have taken the bait, and they have swallowed the hook, line, and sinker on that one. This basic attention tokens it's just plain stupid. That's all I can say. It's just stupid. When I browse the internet, I just ignore the advertisements. I ignore the banners. Does it take longer? Maybe, but considering what I get out of the browser, when I look at things now, I don't look at things to buy, or I look at things because I'm interested in the subject matter to learn about them. That's how I use the internet. I rarely use the internet these days to actually buy things. In reality, if I want to buy things, I just go to my local store in my local area, and I buy it from there. If it's not around here where I have to go onto the internet, that's when I'll go to the internet. There are some things that you can buy on the internet, and I'm not talking about the dark markets. I'm just talking in general, like it's just not available around here. And you have to either mail order anyway, so that's why you go onto the internet. So in those cases, yes. But other than that, when I'm looking for something, it's usually for specifically research, compare, and then a lot of times I'll watch YouTube videos to see how the product works, or the service works, and then I'll just purchase it locally. you know. So, that was the big thing about the .com, how everybody would go on the internet and nobody would have brick and mortar stores. Well, that was a long time ago, and there's still brick and mortar stores. Some of it did have an effect. Blockbuster, um, uh, did Pizza Hut, the pizza places change? They kind of did. Blockbuster was a really big thing. Netflix, um, grocery stores are still around. They're not delivering to your house like Webvan. Um, some things just don't change because there's physical reality challenges. Anyways, let me get back to Krista Rose. I've learned a lot watching this interview. I learned that he's a sex offender. Now, I asked the question of why is he a sex offender? What was the offense? And people in the chat, when I asked, if Krista Rose was a sex offender, people in the chat answered to me saying, yes, he is. If anybody can leave a comment on why he's a sex offender, like what did he do? Sometimes sex offenses are different. In some places, having anal sex is a sex offense. Or was he like, was it rape, attempted rape? I mean, I'm kind of curious. I'm not sure if Chris minds or not, but since he already he brought it out in the video, it'd be interesting to see what it was. Anyways, so let me go on the. Let me stop ranting a little bit, and you probably want the clue to the treasure hunt. Okay, so if you've been watching Krista Rose on his YouTube, his Twitter, and his website, here's the clue to the answer for this episode. Chris has admitted to being addicted to this drug. He's a drug addict. What drug in particular has he admitted repeatedly over the internet and on his YouTube channel that he's addicted to? And that word would be all lowercase. So that's the clue for this episode. So here you go. Here you go. All right, so let's move on to a short chart analysis now. All right, so let's have a look at this. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh. All right, let's go on to the 1 hour. And I am on basically oh goodness. It just started raining. Okay. So, still on the weekly for some reason. I want to go on to the 1 hour. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, excellent. Okay. So I'm on the 1 hour, and this is what it looks like when I back out. And I'll just draw a simple little line to tell me that, and I brought a simple little line from one point to this point to that point. So, alright, so that was the high, all-time high so far. And all I did was there was a sell-off here. There was a sell-off here, and then hit up, and then that was a 1, 2, and this is the third leg down, which I kind of did anticipate a third leg. It was quite dramatic too. But if this was the third leg, depending what it would do, if there was a fifth leg, typically it's either a third leg and then it bounces back, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, a fifth leg. If there was a fifth leg, I would have been a little bit worried because typically when you see a full 5 waves going on the downside, that's usually an indication of a downwarding trend. But it only was a third, three leg going down, and then it broke out of here and then followed, and then when it came back down, it followed this trend line and then started going sideways and started breaking up higher. So I don't think there is a I don't see the price going down. I don't see a downtrend or this uptrend being over yet. So I think there's still life in here on this upward trend that we're seeing. God, it's taking such a long time. I want to do a quick chart analysis here. And it's all right, okay, just my computer. So this is a 12-hour on Bitstamp. I'm using Bitstamp because you can still withdraw and fund your account. Bitsy, you can't fund your account. Bitstamp, you can't withdraw or fund your account. Same with Bitsy, at least for US persons. OKCoin has now been able to withdraw and fund your account, and that might be higher. Sometimes it's a little bit wrong. But anyways, I'm looking at this and it's bounced back okay to me. Nothing's, you can see that. So as long as it's on this shorter term trend line, and as long as it's following that and above this, everything's looking good. We are still on an uptrend, people. This has not let up at all. Okay, so now I'm going to go to a 1-day. And if you look on the 1-day, you're seeing the same thing. It just pierced it, came down, bounced off of the longer term, and then now is above the shorter term, and it's just on its way back, marching on up. So nothing's really changed. We're still on an uptrend. So let's see here. Let's go on to a 3-day real quick. So I'm not seeing any indication of any reversal here. Same thing. Look at that. It's just, although on the 3-day you see this long wick and very small body and a short wick on the bottom, and you see the long wick on the bottom and then the short wick on top. I think this whole thing was just a way for the exchanges or somebody knocking out all of the margins here, long and short. It just looks that way by looking at these candles, to knock out all the shorts, knock out all the longs, and then just come back and just start trading normally. That's why I recommend not having your Bitcoins on the exchanges. A couple reasons as well. The potential split in Bitcoin is coming up, so you don't want your Bitcoins on the exchanges. And by doing that, you are essentially you have a long position, but also with less Bitcoins on the exchanges, there's technically less liquidity, but if there's no one to sell their Bitcoin on the exchange, then they have to buy the Bitcoins. So that would drive the price up even higher. So that causes a shortage on the exchange. So pulling your Bitcoins off the exchange and holding and owning the private key will help drive up the price, on the exchanges anyway. But since everyone bases their value of Bitcoin based off the exchange price, it would be in your benefit as a long-term holder to hold your own Bitcoins off the exchange. And on top of that, if there's a split in Bitcoin, it's best that you hold on to your Bitcoins, and then after everything settles, you can use your Bitcoin on whatever chain there might or may not be. So okay, so let's go to a 1 week. We'll take a look at the 1 week, and yeah, look at that. See, I was a little concerned about this wick, this very long wick, but it looks like it's recovering. So this other candlestick, it's not over yet. It's only Friday, but you know, considering it's almost a whole week, it looks very strong, and it looks like it's again in line with the shorter term average line, and this is the longer term. And look, it's really starting to turn up here, and it looks scary because if you look at the RSI, let me back out here. If you look at that RSI, I mean, it really looks like it's going to top out, and it may, but if you look at the overall, if you look at everything here, it just, everything is indicating to me that the price is going to go up even higher, despite the fact that the RSI is showing oversold. And another thing is, if I'm looking at the volume here, and if you look at the volume and you compare it to other times, I mean, it's really low compared to the price that it's been. There's been higher volumes during here, this time, and this time. All this other time, it's been a very low volume, very, very low. So we haven't even reached a buying frenzy yet, in my opinion. So there's a lot of people are holding their Bitcoins. What does that tell you? If a lot of people are holding their Bitcoins, those Bitcoins are not on the exchanges. We should all be learning our lessons from Mt. Gox and all the other hacks that have happened. Poloniex is having problems with withdrawals, so there's a red flag. Bitphoenix has a problem with cash withdrawals and cash funding. That should be another red flag right there. And just all the issues with Coinbase not being available during volatile times or times when their capacity reaches its limits. So the best thing to do is really just to hold on to your own Bitcoin, own your private keys. If you do that, less Bitcoins on the exchanges means higher prices. It's just really that simple. And the fact that there's not a lot of volume compared to these other times, that's really good. The average, I say, is right about here. Right about here. So I'm just hitting the top of some of these other areas. So, the buying frenzy hasn't even started yet, in my opinion. There's a lot of altcoins being traded. I think once, I do anticipate the altcoins to, I guess I should just say it, there seems to be a bubble atmosphere about altcoins. They have no use. They're not being used, or at least they're not being used as intended. Also, there's no value into using them other than the purpose of speculation. So the prices are being driven up just purely on speculation. Nothing else. They're not being used. They're not being there's no value added to this in their creation of any altcoins or ICO, like the BAT token, the basic attention token. Utterly stupid, in my opinion. So anyways, I do anticipate the price to go up. As you can see, it has been going up, and if you just look at it, I mean, look how small this thing is getting. It's just getting smaller. Look at that. That. I mean, if you just take this and double that, we're right here. We're just basically we're basically halfway to a point of which my target price is 5,000. So, anyways, let me get back to let me see here, the treasure hunt. Okay, so the treasure hunt has that many Bitcoins now. So if you do want to earn, I'll show the private keys one more time, just in case if you missed it. So that's how much is in the treasure hunt. If you can crack the code, you can win all that Bitcoin right here. You can win that right now. So, all right. So let's just Go back to Crystal Rose here. Um, so here's my prediction. They did talk about the BIP 148 that's coming up on August 1st, and the potential splitting the network, having two coins, a China coin and then a Bitcoin. And let's have a look at the futures market on that. Refresh this. I'll just refresh it one more time. Okay. All right. So let's have a look at that. Wow, it's spreading even more. So this is just regular Bitcoin right here at 2100. This is the basically the China coin. It's, although the price has gone up dramatically, it's remained in 100 to 200 range. If we just go on that, I mean, it's the chances of a split seems to be low, but you never know because it could be deceptive. There might be a few people who are taking this China coin, who are buying up this China coin here, and maybe they'll cause a fork just to cash out on that, but it doesn't make any sense to do that. So looks like, from what I could tell, Bitcoin will not have a split, just based on these numbers alone. So here's my prediction for segregated witness by the end of this year. It will be activated. The users like me, people who use Bitcoin or who have Bitcoin, users demand it. The node operators are demanding it as well, people who run nodes. So there's a good chance. Now the thing about running a node is you could run multiple nodes, and so it's not quite a vote. I wish it was like a vote, like every person has one vote and they can vote, and if they say yes to segregated witness, then my goodness, let it be. But with this being an activation of the nodes, it's not quite democratic, because one person can buy 100 nodes and they got 100 votes. So it's going to be interesting. But me as a user, a person that has Bitcoin, what I can do after August 1st is I can make a choice. All right, I can choose to use only SegWit compatible Bitcoins. I can choose to buy SegWit compatible Bitcoins. I can choose to sell to others so they can use SegWit compatible Bitcoins, and I can refuse. I can refuse to use any China coins. I can refuse to buy any China coins or sell any China coins so others can use it. So as a user, that's probably the only power I have. But I have to wait until after August. Now, preferably, the miners can at any time activate or signal for activation. And, they could still retain their power as far as how they want to activate upgrades. Okay. But in either case, it's a dire situation for the miners, especially the Chinese miners. Their back is to the corner. They don't have any choice. They're gonna have to activate SegWit and just play fair, or they're gonna take all the money that they've made and they're gonna have to create their own economy within China. And they're going to become an island. They'll become an isolated economy of Bitcoin. Because I'm not going to buy any China coins. I'm not going to sell any China coins so other people can use it. So as far as a user, like people who have Bitcoins, that's the only power I have. And if that's the only way I can contribute in any way, that's what I'm going to do. So I do believe I am predicting that SegWit will be activated by the end of this year because there is a deadline to activate it. There's BIP 139, there's BIP 138. I do believe by August 1st it will happen, whether it's a minority or a majority or 95%. It's going to happen. The users, well, in general, the users demand it. The node operators will demand it, and it's going to be the battle. It's going to be a battle of chicken. There's a good chance we all know who the chicken is. I'm pretty sure it's Jianwu, Roger Ver, because they've already made the threat they're going to hard fork, and they didn't. They didn't hard fork. So you just gave away your game plan. You revealed your hand. That was a really stupid move. And now, if you're not going to hard fork, the economic majority will cause a fork, so that I compare it to being spit out. You know, they're going to cause a split so they can spit out the unwanted trash in this Bitcoin network. You're getting the boot. Okay. And oh yeah, another thing. If you were here in the live stream, I was in the chat. Does anybody know what a boost is, or booting up? Let me pause and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I guess it's booting up or boot up. Let me see here. Is there any other definition? Booting up. Let me back out. Hold on. Well, I'll show you this. Booting up. I guess it's just another way of saying it. Booting up, or booting, or booting up, to inject or shoot up drugs, i.e. heroin, a slang term that is a variant of shooting up. So if you don't know what booting up is, it literally means to inject heroin. And so so another word that I used in the chat to Chris, boost. Anybody know what a boost is? Let's just look it up. Urban Dictionary. Let me see if it does have it. Let me see here. Not quite. Well, I guess it doesn't. It kind of means something like this: a rapid consumption of energy drink. But not really. Boost. If you ever heard the term, if you need a boost is the consumption of cocaine. Snorting cocaine gives you a little boost. So there's your vocabulary for the day. So booting up and boost. So go ahead and watch the video. Enjoy this episode, and basically this concludes this episode. So feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, or even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.